Howdy, folks. What's going on? I need my phone for this episode today, and I forgot it. But I've been listening through my Bandcamp backlog, so I have a lot of albums to talk about. I've listened to a ton of stuff, and we do have one new release since the last episode. Um, and I have some new releases to talk about as well. Hopefully, even more coming soon. Um, so I'm very excited to talk about all those things. Very relaxed too today. I don't have that much energy today, which is a good thing. It's good for me to not have it. So welcome to Noise with Ivan. Roll the intro. The first things first, I want to get into this before I talk about any of the fun stuff that I've been listening to this week on Bandcamp. We have a fun release on Not of the Flesh. Woohoo! Rising Storm by Anaru. Um, he was so worried about this release. He texted me. It was the first person I ever signed. Signed. I don't know if signed is the word. I signed them to our label. So that he was on. He reached out to me. He said, "Would you guys possibly do a physical release?" And I said, "Yeah," because I just pretty much say I pretty much say yes to everybody. I say yes, and then I ask him and about it, and or I ask Shremo about it. Shremo about it. Everybody's trying to figure out how to pronounce this guy's name, and that's what I was listening to earlier today with Sado Rituals, and it was awesome. But anyway, Rising Storm. He was worried about it. He said that this is kind of techno. It's kind of beat heavy and stuff like that. And I was like, I kind of see, I could kind of see what he meant in that it might not be the most suited for our label or the most common thing. And there are probably people that are on Gates of Hypnos looking for noise walls, harsh noise walls. Um, and yeah, they'll probably listen to. When I did Pulling on Ropes, he was like, people are not gonna like this. I've done much worse than that. Um, much further against the grain. It's this is at least darker electronic music as opposed to me doing post rock and stuff like that on Gates of Hypnos. You can do a lot worse. Um, but you have to be honest. I've never been rejected with a release from Gates of Hypnos. I'm pretty closely knit, though. Um, but he does a lot of projects, and that Rising Storm went really well. People really seem to like it. There are a couple things I have to replace for Not of the Flesh. Got to fix some stuff. If you notice, there's printer lines on the covers of the last two CDs that we put out, and that is not going to fly. But I have no idea how to how to handle that or fix it. It's just, frankly, in the future, I want to change the way we do stuff at Not of the Flesh, with Not of the Flesh. Um, as far as I would like them to be much more budget releases, and I would like everything to be. It's DIY. I don't want to lie about it or try to make it more fancy than it is. Not that I'm saying we shouldn't put work into it, but I want to say, hey, we're DIY. It's not fancy. It's me making these at home, and that's what it is. And I want our stuff to have that feel, and I feel like everything that I'm making now, or what I'm trying to do is to make it not have that feel. But it's not what it is. It's not It's not like a. It's we're not using distribution. It's not a record label that really makes any money. So there's no reason why we should be putting money into it. It's a passion project. We do it because we love it, and yeah. So I'm thinking about doing other things with the label. I listened to some Jason. Well, the first thing is the new Animal Lust that came out. He had done another project recently. Um, he has started working under another name, as far as I understand, and that's the same thing with Spook Off as well. Um, they all. I feel like all my friends are ending their projects and working under other names and things of that nature. And I'm like, guys, I wish I decided to end a project because I just forget that I started it. Superheroes Club, Contrite Heart, Source. I mean, all these things are just things that I cannot keep up with. And all these old guys are saying that they're overdoing it and then calling the quits, which I don't think so. Yeah, he did it under a different name. So he was using a device called his work is so minimalistic anyway. But he was, yeah, this is by the company Soma, and it's called. I'll send the picture of him holding it. Um, the Ether, Soma Ether, and it just picks up these frequencies and works them a certain type of way, to the point where they become noise, and they get organized or disorganized, distorted. Um, and that was a really cool release. But Mall, right? MAW? Yeah, MAW, Mall Noise. Esoteric brainwaves. And it definitely felt like that. It was like, it works in a way, and I'll put, you'll be able to find him. So anyway, that's his new project. Um, and as far as I can tell, that he hasn't had any other albums out under that name, but I was hyped on it. I really liked it. And that's what I told him, is that it's a little bit of a, listening to him is a little bit more of a, it feels like Coil, it feels like White House, it feels like Grimm, especially that recent split he did that looks literally just like the Amaterasu cover, I think is the one I'm thinking of. And that's probably why I like Animal Lust so much. But yeah, he's one of my favorite artists right now. He was telling me about on his more recent album, the Go Home one or whatever it's called. Um, I shouldn't be so dismissive. I'm sorry, Animal Lust. You know I love you. He was like, yeah, it was my phone next to a guitar amp, and yeah, obviously he had um a stronger setup than just his phone and a guitar amp, but the fact that he's recording off of his phone, and the Angel of the Enemy said the same thing. When I worked with him, we both, Animal Lust and I never worked together, but we both did a split with Angel of the Enemy. Um, Animal Lust or Angel of the Enemy said the same thing. He did a straight up album with his phone. He records his stuff with his phone. And that's what those guys do. And you know, hey, I suppose that's doable. I could see doing that. I probably would have done it. I I recorded stuff as a kid on GarageBand, but I never did anything with it. Um, I'm with my iPod, you know. But yeah, I mean, I'm sort of caught up in this whole Pro Tools idea just because I went to school for for music, but you can make valuable music just on your phone. I mean, there was some guy that was saying it doesn't work the same way that it used to. If you wanna if you wanna make something, just make it, and that's what all of us are doing. That's what all of us are doing. Nobody's listening to it's not necessarily somebody listening to this stuff that's making us do it. We're like, oh man, I gotta put another album out. I'm gonna make some money. No, I'm gonna waste money making an album. And if somebody likes it, then you might not necessarily be wasting money anymore. I had a week where I went on Reddit, and for anyone that's not on Reddit, don't ever use Reddit. But there's a harsh noise subreddit that I will use occasionally, and sometimes I'll say something that gets the party going, and I really enjoy those moments. I'm like, wow, everybody's really excited about this topic. Um, if anyone knew of any other labels than Gates of Hypnos that had a full album discography available, because I love that. I have picked up a handful of them. I picked up the one from No Rent. I picked up the one from Gates of Hypnos, the London Harsh Noise Wall um, label. All fantastic. And I just have been, but I bought a lot of them. And right now I'm kind of in a place where I'm trying to listen to at least a percentage of all of the stuff on my Bandcamp discography. Um, and the first 20 of these, I probably spent a lot of money. I have spent a lot of money. Let's just leave it at that on physical media. I'm done. You will have to buy my media or trade with me if you want me to review physical media on Noise with Ivan. I've got plenty to listen to, and if I run out of stuff to listen to on Bandcamp, I can listen to music for free and review it. One thing that I haven't been that is not noise music, but it's a one-man project, so it kind of feels like it's in the same way, kind of in the vaporwave area, is From Tokyo to Honolulu. Very popular. Very popular as far as things that I have talked about. But on the label is called Underwater Computing _, which is one of those labels that I bought the full discography from. And I think it's a positive listening experience for me. I typically don't like anything with beats at all. I'm pretty far removed from that kind of thing. I'm pretty much a ambient music person, but why not? I've been making beats lately, a little bit, trying, um, and it's not something that you should blow off just because you can make ambient music, because it's difficult to make beats and because you don't like it, or not typically. I will say that that's the reason for noise right there, is for harsh noise being the entity that it is, or gore noise anyway. It's because it's hard to make beats. It's too hard for people to make beats. I have a hard time making beats because I use Pro Tools, but I still make them. So I feel like it's one of the things that's just a little bit difficult, and so there's so much less of it than there could be. Believe me, I'm all for textures. I'm more of a texture person than a rhythm person. I don't really like rhythm all that much. I like bass lines that have a little bit of emphasis to them, but I'm not huge on them. This is going to be a real relaxing episode. It's been a harsh noise wall day for me because I started off with Sado Rituals. Good stuff. Fantastic. The sun was rising, the birds were chirping. It's kind of cool. It was kind of cool outside. The wind was blowing. The sun was like beating on the leaves, but not me because I was in the shed. And I was listening to Sado Rituals. I don't remember what album it was. Um, but he has some really great stuff, so just listen to everything he has, be in support of it. I also listen to Social Wreck. It's on it's a cassette, Kubatu Asparagus. I knew about it because he bought their entire discography. Okay, Cultist Copy. So they do have a ton of. They have grindcore, crust punk, stuff like that, but also like harsh noise walls and regular noise. I don't know. It's got this goat looking thing on it. That's the Sado Rituals release I was listening to. It was so good. I was so relaxed. And then I remembered that I had recorded a harsh noise wall that I really liked, and that is called Famished. I'm not making a CD. I did put it on Spotify. I also put it on Bandcamp. It will be on Militant Liturgy at some point, but I didn't make a CD for it. Not yet. One day, it's gonna go on CD. It might not though. Um, Specimen N. La Calma. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it is and there's no description, but it's on the Harsh Noise Wall London UK label. They have a lot of cool stuff. It's just called H&W on Bandcamp with this kind of screen tone on either side. Um, which is a cool label if you just want harsh noise walls. Like I said, Gates of Hypnos is not the harsh noise wall that you think it is, but this literally is. This is just harsh noise walls. It's an H&W net label. It sounds like there's more movement than there is. So if I go you're like, oh, that's the same thing repeating it over and over again. But if I did that 10 times slower, then it wouldn't seem that way. Featherboard by Jason Krumer. I want to let you know that I do not advocate for the objectifying of women. That's a tricky thing with noise music because, well, you have to consider that we're talking about negative topics for the purpose of criticism of or of negative things, right? Like child pornography or Nazism, like there's references to things like child pornography and pornography in general, and fashion or like legit like Nazi stuff, not just like fascism, like because fascism has taken on a different way that people use the word. Um, like Nazi stuff, like swastikas and stuff. And swastikas, pornography, stuff like that, militant stuff, guns, violence, dead bodies, gore, things like that. The good thing about those being in noise is because noise is not misconstrued as a positive thing. Metal is commonly misconstrued as a positive thing about negative subjects, right? Music that is supposed to be uncomfortable and offensive and aggressive doesn't quite get painted out that way because people enjoy metal. People go, mm, mm, mm. People are bopping around to it. You know, metal. I think does too much glorifying. Noise paints things in a bad, negative light, which is kind of the problem with being as used to it or as well rounded a noise fan as I think most of us are. Um, it's not going to strike us as it's not going to make us uncomfortable. It's not going to disturb us, which is one of the most wonderful things about noise is they're the disturbing releases that are really disturbing and may make you hate the things that are happening in this world. They make you hate the sin of the world, which is good. You should reject it, and noise should be a tool to make us reject bad things, not become a tool just like metal did to glorify bad things. You're gonna have to come down to my level for this episode. That said, so I'm kind of in the middle. I kind of understand using things like that, but I also am against objectifying women in any way that it's done. I'm against pornography in any way that it's done. So when we have women that are not well dressed or dressed at all on our album covers, isn't that causing a problem? Isn't that doing the same thing that pornography does? Not if they listen to noise and it does the job of noise, but what happens when noise stops doing its job? What happens when noise stops making objectifying women a bad thing and people like the noise and they like objectifying women? I'm pretty used to it. I tend to like noise. I tend to enjoy the frequencies, you know, and it doesn't make me mourn. It doesn't make me cry. It doesn't make me get upset like it used to. So, a naked woman on the cover at this point, generally speaking, strikes me not as us seeing the negative aspect of sexuality, but because when you're driving when anybody is driving sexuality, anybody's participating in porn, or you are making everyone more addicted and you're making everyone more more of a slave to it. You know, it's this awful, futile, downward spiral of addiction and perversion, and you know and those things don't just stay the same. It's not just okay. This guy likes porn. He's going to watch porn instead of having sex. It's not like that. It doesn't work like that. It develops. That's like saying I don't want to do too much math, so I'm just going to do a little bit of math. And then I probably won't do more math because I did a little bit. Stupid. Anyway, Featherboard by Jason Krumer. He was one of my favorite artists. I liked he had all these gangster phrases for albums. Um and maybe I'll put up a chart of those released. I enjoyed those, and they were on Spotify, so a lot of my noise listening back in the day would be that. But he had this release that was very, very sexual, just like my whole rant that I just had here, called Featherboard, which was his cassette on No Rent, which was one of the first. Featherboard, I'm sorry, was this bed creaking kind of sound. But then it went in and out of being noise as opposed to sound effects. And it had these audio samples of a woman saying, dying, she's dead, she's dying, she's dead. That was it. And there were some other things that I wasn't quite capturing. Again, I don't know how to feel about it. It's definitely negative. It's definitely negative and paints it in a negative light, but that doesn't keep people from enjoying negative things or embracing negative things. So I hate to be the person that says that we need complete censorship and we have to get rid of all these bad things. And um, media needs to be controlled. Art needs to be controlled. But the less and less we use it as a positive thing, the more I question whether we can handle the freedom that we have. And I was like, as a Calvinist, I can tell you that free will is completely a bad thing.